Okay, so we're going into just a little bit of silliness here to get started. And James, this one is for you. I just have to say to everyone that I'm wearing a tiara today in honor of James because he has been doing a lot of tiaras lately. He's the king of tiaras and I love them and I want him to be jealous. So just a little bit of silliness to talk about water dragons today. Why not go into the kingdom of water and wear my tiara? So let's drop that down. Hi, Nikki. So let's see if we can get rid of this now and move into dragons. Hey, so silliness there. Just had to put a tiara on for my friend James. And going into chapter 2 this week, I want to share with you guys. And yes, James, you're so jealous. Good to see you, buddy. We finished last time. Chapter 1 was really introducing how the dragons started showing up in my energy work. And I'm sharing these stories not only because they're fun for me to share and maybe fun for you guys to hear, but I want people to start following their own inner guidance and like not being freaked out by things that start popping in if they're doing energy work, if they're having experiences visually with their clairvoyance, if they're sensing presences around and they're just not sure what they are. Allow yourself to open because some doorway is going to open for you that you're not going to have any idea where it's going to take you, and it might just line you up with your purpose. I know this is one of my big purposes on the planet with the dragons, and I know that there's a big advent of new information, and my role is stepping up even bigger to start training so that more people can share this with others around the world and the globe. So moving into chapter 2 of the story, took place, let's see, this was in September of 2007. So the dragons had been present in my healing work for almost 4 years at that point, 4.5 years. And I was invited, I found out about an event called the Womb of the World Gathering. It was the first one ever done, and it was in Kona, Hawaii. So I went, just followed a gut instinct, and there were 12 of us in the group, predominantly women. There was one man, and then there was a man who facilitated it. His name is Padma, and he is from England. And interestingly, I, always had the dragons on the back burner, and I got there, and it was going to be a 3-day event. Hadn't met this person before, and so when I recognized him in the lobby, and he was talking to one of the other participants, I went over and sat down to say hello, and when he finally had a break in the conversation, he turned to me and he said, Oh, you're Araya, so you've got the dragon connection. You're going to be bringing some of that this weekend. And of course, in my old sarcastic tone, I just said, yeah, okay, if you get some more information about that, let me know. Sort of thinking, okay, this guy's crazy. What am I going to have to contribute here? I'm here as a participant. I paid to come to play and receive, and so whatever. And I did learn from him that sarcasm, which was a very common thing in my youth and most of my adult life that I learned from my family and from, it's a big side of humor around here. And he would always say, sarcasm is the lowest form of wit. Of course, he was British and had a very different dry sense of humor. And it did strike me that there is some truth in that. And sarcasm for me was a way of resistance. It was a way that I sort of pushed back and said, yeah, we'll see. And instead of diving into things and just embracing when people would drop information to me. So over the course of that weekend, what came about was information through several other sessions that happened while we were in the hotel conference rooms. And then on the last day, we actually were going to have an initiation. And so we drove out to this incredibly beautiful place called it was a sacred refuge. I believe it was called Pu'uhonauanau. And it's where ancient Hawaiian ceremony was done. And there's a lava pool there that actually at the right tide connects to the ocean. Actually connects where there's maybe 6 to 12 inches of water where they share the water over this wall. And at other times the tide is out far enough that it's actually a separate isolated pool. So we happened to be there. Yeah, sarcasm. I can't see your full comment. Let me see if I can see it here, James. I love the behind sarcasm and resistance. Yes. Bhutan resistance is pain. Exactly. I wasn't ready to really open. Hello, Jen. Thanks for joining us. We're just getting started on chapter 2 story. Anyway, so for this initiation, we went out to this beautiful sacred pool. It was the perfect tide, of course, everything aligned. Just like today, I found it sort of interesting that as I got everything done to come on live, I wasn't really planning this. This is chapter 2. I believe I came on right around 2:22. It is it's December 7th, 2017, which numerology-wise, if you add it up, is a 2. So isn't that funny? We're going on chapter 2. And so this sacred ceremony was an initiation for these 12 women, and I did end up having a huge role in it. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't really, wasn't planning on it for sure, but I was open. And so Spirit used me, and Padma sort of allowed me to, he just sort of gave very basic, this is on you. This is your piece. Bring it. And I, okay. So he did his part of the womb ceremony, and all of a sudden I realized that there was a dragon presence in the pool, in the water that had entered, and I felt it. And he looked up at me exactly as I felt that, and he says, "Do you feel her? She's here. Go for it." And I said, wow, yes. And so I actually entered the water of the pool, and it's maybe 3 feet at the deepest spot. And I've been a swimmer my whole life. I've always been the most comfortable in the water. I taught scuba diving and was a boat captain for years in Hawaii. And so I got to be in the water all the time. And I used to do underwater photography, and on the back of the cards that I printed, I remember writing that being in the ocean is my passion and my peace. I never had fear underwater, and I would take my regulator out and blow bubbles from 90 feet deep. And I loved at night dives, being in the water and hanging on the anchor line in the phosphorescence and doing this and swimming, actually swirling my body around like a dragon for years, long before the dragons ever showed up. So when I went into that pool, I could feel this dragon, and she was huge, and she is Tana. She is the immense water dragon who is holding the tectonic plate in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Peru. And she came into a form that was manageable in size energetically to be in that pool with me. And as I felt her, I immediately just found myself thrashing in the water, moving my body in this serpentine way and feeling this energetic merge. And literally, I can't explain all the overwhelming emotions, energies, everything that was going through my body at that time. And here I'm in the water, and so I'm coming up for breath and thrashing around underneath. And it wasn't extremely deep, and there's corals and things on the rocks that lava and things that scrape, and things that certain soft corals that when you hit them they embed in your skin and sort of make it itchy, and none of it mattered. And as I completed this, it just took a few minutes, but as I was done, I felt myself coming out of the pool, and I literally, she was in my body. I felt fully merged with her, and that's who I connect with. The book is written by Araya Tana as my pen name on that, because she is me, I am her. It was that immense recognition and merging again. And I actually, over that time, we were supposed to get our womb name during that retreat. And because I wasn't, when we did the exercise, this was in the conference room for the first 2 days, to get our womb name and tune in and really feel the depth of our calling, our soul name. Hi, Kayla, welcome. I heard the name Tana. It came in, and it was so powerful. This name was just, and then because I couldn't own up to that much power yet, I announced my name to the group as Tanaya. And I didn't realize until later that Tanaya was the halfway point between Tana and Araya. And it was as far as I could go to merge that at that point. So then here I am fully merged energetically and physically and experiencing. I literally raised my head out of the water and looked across the horizon. And I could see the people. I could see the 11 women waiting for their initiation. And it was as if I was looking through her eyes, because everything looked very different. It was like I was looking through a filter, sort of hazy. And if you can imagine sort of, like reptile eyes looking through that, there's different deeper, more profound levels of seeing. And so that's what I was experiencing as I came up out of the water. And I breathed and I went, oh, okay. And then I just allowed one at a time. I indicated when I was ready. And Carol, who was there, was assisting bringing the women into the water. And she came first, and so she got her initiation first. This was the first activation of the womb dragons. So each of these women received a heart activation through Padma, and then they received their womb dragon activation through Tana and myself. And it was so powerful because each woman that came had, of course, their individual dragon in their womb space and their own mantra that came with it, that just came through naturally and was being sounded, and then a full energetic healing in the water. And I'm getting chills just remembering it and feeling it, and feeling Tana's energy coming present with me as I bring myself back to that energetic space. Yeah, you can see her swimming in my eyes. And actually, James was with me at the last Earth Angels retreat when I had to take a picture of myself when I came out of a space of just my eyes. And actually, no, it was at Become. It was at the Become event. I had a huge thing happen with the dragons there, and I took a picture that you can see my dragon eyes in that picture. When they're fully present, my face changes and my eyes definitely show that. So thanks for recognizing that and commenting on that, James. It is so powerful when she is there. And so that was the part of merging and sharing, and that was the birth of of the dragon stuff coming through. And what happened the next day before I flew out, a few of us stayed behind. There were four of us, Whitney, Carol, myself, and Padma went out to lunch in Kona. And we were sitting there very nonchalantly at lunch, just chatting about things. And he turned and looked directly at me, and he said, "You know you have a book to write now, don't you?" There was no flinch, there was no hesitation, there was no bulkiness or sarcasm. And quite frankly, I just sat back across the table, yeah, I do. 6 weeks later, I was on a plane to the UK. I was on a plane to get to Glastonbury and bring that book through. And that was The Birth of the Dragon Within, which will be chapter 3, I guess, because it's too long to go into now. But some beautiful stuff happened on that time. And literally within, it was less than 2 weeks. I want to say it was 10 days that everything came through. And then we had time to create a CD with all the tracks, and everything just flowed easily. It was meant to be. And so it's exciting for me because I'm going to share chapter 3 and watch what chapters unfold now, because I feel like chapters 5, 6, and 7 are opening right now, and it's been exciting for me and hopefully for you. And I thank you so much for tuning in today to share with me. For those that watch the live replay, please feel free. And if you guys have questions right now about any of it, please feel free to just put them in. I can see the comments. I finally figured out Facebook Live. I can see the comments. I can see who's here. Yay, go. Go Dragon Mama with technology. Maybe that's why I'm so resistant technology-wise. I will let you guys know I didn't get a smartphone until my 50th birthday last fall, and now I embrace it fully. And I've learned a lot about technology and Facebook and all these newfangled things, but I'm just realizing right now as I speak to it that it's my ancient dragon self that has been so resistant to technology. I think that's really funny. So if anybody has questions about the story, I do always check the comments later and follow them and answer and reply. Please put them in, because any question you have, someone else might, and I'm happy to expand on the story. And of course, if you are having dragon stuff come up, if you're feeling things locked in your body that you think need to be released because they're dragon wings, nobody's going to think you're crazy if you bring it up in this group. And I would love to work with you. I am offering $100 off your first session. You just need to direct message me, and possibly even a discount on a full 3-month program. So that said, I'm going to wish you guys a fabulous afternoon. Thank you for tuning in, and please keep sharing your own experiences in the group. I am loving reading where in the world you guys are from and what your experiences have been this far. Some of them I've known, especially where you are, because you've purchased the book, and I do sort of keep track of those over the years and have one-on-one contact with each person that buys the book. I love that extra time that I spend to connect with people in that way. So have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.